Hey everyone, GrimmChorizo here, and this is Ringside Predictions. This Sunday is Backlash, which will be the first SmackDown exclusive pay-per-view of the brand split set back in July. Now, I think the card looks pretty good, and I'm hoping that it's actually going to be a pretty short show, about 2 to 2.5 hours, because it's got about the same amount of matches that an NXT TakeOver card would have. So I hope they kind of follow that formula, you know, a few matches that are all good, get some good time. I guess we'll see, though. It doesn't need to be 3 hours plus an hour fucking long pre-show. You know, it's just make it a little show, especially since they're going to be doing these every 2 or 3 weeks. Just make them more condensed and better content. But either way, we're going to run down the matches that have been announced so far, and we'll see if they add any more. Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton. Now, I think both these guys really need the win. They really do. Wyatt didn't even compete on the SummerSlam card, and before that, you know, he hasn't really won too much. Randy Orton, however, was in the main event of SummerSlam and lost, so he really could use the win as well. Honestly, I think they're going to give it to Randy Orton because I think this feud's going to carry on. I think Orton will win, it'll carry on the next pay-per-view, and Wyatt will get a win there, and from there, I'm not sure. But I'm going to predict Randy Orton wins this first match. So this was originally supposed to be American Alpha versus Heath Slater and Rhino, the finals for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. However, the Usos, who turned heel, injured American Alpha, and they won't be able to compete. So the Hype Bros and the Usos, who both lost, are going to compete, and the winner of that match will go to the finals. So Usos versus Hype Bros, I'm going to predict the Usos. I don't see Hype Bros standing a chance. They're not terrible, they just don't do a whole lot for me. The Usos, however, have just done a heel turn. They've shown some development. There's no way they don't go to the finals. And then the Usos versus Heath Slater and Rhino, as much as I want to say Slater and Rhino, you know, because if Slater wins, he gets the title and a contract. I think that the Usos are going to win. I think they're going to be our inaugural SmackDown Tag Champs, and eventually they're going to have this feud with an American Alpha returning from injury, and it's going to be a big deal. Where Slater and Rhino, they deserve these, and they're both over so much, and I'd like to see them get the win. But I think it's going to go to the Usos, and Slater and Rhino, well, Slater is going to get a contract anyway, and maybe Rhino and Slater will keep on as a team, I don't know. But I'm going to predict the Usos become the new and first ever SmackDown Tag Team Champions. The Miz versus Dolph Ziggler for the Intercontinental Championship. This is another one where I think both guys really need a win, which I think is good when you are put in positions like that because it's less predictable. The Miz is huge after his, you know, big shoot-like promo that he did on Talking Smack a few weeks back. He's been holding the Intercontinental Championship for like at least 130 days, 140 days, and he's got a really good reign going. However, Ziggler just fought for the world title at the last pay-per-view and lost. So now if he just loses for the Intercontinental Championship here, it's kind of just showing like he can't win. But I think that The Miz will retain the title here, and once again, I think that this is going to be one of those that goes on to the next pay-per-view. So I'm going to go with The Miz, and we'll see what happens. Six-pack challenge for the Women's Championship of SmackDown. It's Carmella, Alexa Bliss, Natalya, Becky Lynch, Nikki Bella, and Naomi. I believe it is an elimination match, or at least that's what it sounded like on SmackDown. But my predicted winner is going to be Becky Lynch. It's either Becky or Nikki. But I think that with Carmella in the match, who's got a little feud going with Nikki, that Nikki can not win the title and still do that feud with Carmella. And Becky can be the rightful first champion. She was the first draft pick. She never got the NXT Women's Championship. She never got the Women's Championship or Divas Championship while she was on Raw or during, you know, the pre-brand split. But I think that she should be the first SmackDown champion, and I think that she will. And she'll probably have a feud with Natalya or Alexa or something like that. And then she'll go on and have a bigger feud with Nikki Bella, kind of like a face-face thing. Because Nikki and Becky are their two top women on SmackDown. And I don't think you want to put it on Nikki right away when she could do this other feud with Carmella. So I'm going to predict Becky Lynch becomes the first ever SmackDown Women's Champion. And the main event, Dean Ambrose versus AJ Styles for the WWE World Championship. This is another one that I think is hard to predict. You have AJ Styles who just beat fucking John Cena at SummerSlam. So where does he go? He should be the champion. He should be. But I think that Ambrose is going to retain here. And I know these are kind of just... They can't all be like this, but I think Ambrose is going to retain. Maybe in, you know, a dirty thing like it's not a perfectly clean finish. Not like he cheats, but there's just... It's not a full-on, clean, decisive victory. But Ambrose walks out with the title, and this goes on to the next pay-per-view where AJ Styles gets the title. I'd be perfectly fine with AJ winning here. I think he should. I just don't think he will yet. And if he does, that's cool. I hope he does. But I'm just going to predict Ambrose because it just feels like, you know, AJ got the last laugh, as you could say, on SmackDown, and Ambrose has been having a pretty good run here. I don't think they want to cut it off yet, but AJ needs to get that title, and I think he'll get it soon. I just don't think it's going to be here at Backlash. So thanks for watching my predictions. Let me know what you think. I know a lot of them are kind of safe predictions, I guess you could say. I'm like, well, this will happen here, and then it'll happen, and then what should happen will happen at the next pay-per-view, and they probably won't all go like that, but that's just, it's hard to predict some of these. That's kind of what my brain is doing. So those are my predictions for Backlash. I'm excited for the show, and I'm excited that it's hopefully going to be a shorter show and not as long as most pay-per-views, because there's just a lot of wrestling to watch nowadays. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys for the next pay-per-view. I believe it is Clash of Champions, a Raw show, so see you guys later.